Hello, I'm Mario Toneguzzi, Senior News Editor of Retail Insider. Joining me today is Ariana Kertsanis, who is a Gen Z Canadian reseller with over 22,000 followers on Poshmark. Thanks for joining us today, Ariana.
Thank you for having me.
Well, let's talk a little bit about what you do, and maybe we'll start from there. Like, what does it mean to be a reseller?
Yeah, so to be a reseller on Poshmark, you basically post your pre-loved clothing items, accessories, even pieces of furniture if you'd like, and you post them on the app, and buyers will look through your account and purchase what they like, and then it gets sent to their home address.
Okay, then, and how did you start doing this, and why?
Yeah, so I started my Poshmark account in April of 2020, so pretty much at the height of COVID. I realized that I had a lot of time on my hands, as everyone did at that time, and I had a whole lot of clothing that I wasn't wearing so much in my closet. And I realized I might as well make the most of the situation and take photos of the clothing that was in my closet, start a Poshmark account. So I did put quite a bit of work into it at the beginning. I took photos of probably over 70 pieces of clothing. I modeled them all in a mirror and included detailed descriptions of each item. And then the account went live, and I actually found quite a bit of success in it.
How did you, when you started this, I'm just curious of, what did you think when you first started? Did you think, oh, maybe I'll send a couple of clothes, or compared to where you're at today?
Yeah, I definitely thought I would only have a little bit of interest. I think at the time I was only about at 100 followers, and I had a couple likes and comments on each of my postings. But then once one thing sells, then your account gains a little bit of traction and the algorithm picks up your listings. And then I realized that if I follow more people, then more people will follow me back. And if I share others' listings, then they'll share mine. So I started to get in the groove of the app, and I realized that it was actually a really great way to make money on the side and pay for some school and a little side hustle during COVID.
Okay, then, why do you think this sort of secondhand economy is becoming more and more popular out there for people?
For many of reasons, I think specifically for Gen Z, for our generation, secondhand economy is gaining a lot of traction because we no longer want to be supportive of fast fashion. We want to be sustainable. We're always looking for some affordable pieces that have been pre-owned by others. I also think, for example, myself, I love purchasing dresses, bikinis from clothing items from clothing stores in Australia are very far away. And in order for those pieces to get to me, there are import fees, duties, taxes. And once I pay all of those fees and I have the piece of clothing with me, if it doesn't fit right, to send it back, I have to spend money on shipping and import fees and duties. So it makes more sense to post that item on Poshmark. And if someone else who had their eye on it is able to get it, then that makes the most sense.
What are some of the items that are most popular that you're finding?
Definitely clothing pieces. I would also say accessories such as handbags are extremely popular as well. Definitely some jewelry pieces as well. Even home good items such as like shelves or jewelry units. Those items also do really well in Poshmark. And I know a couple friends who have a lot of success in selling books as well.
Hmm. Now, without getting into any like specific numbers, can you give me a sense of like how much you've sold?
Yeah, so I can tell you I've sold around 80 listings. So each of those listings could be from posted at a variety of price points. So I've sold everything from t-shirts that were only like maybe $6 or $7 all the way to some of my mom's pre-loved designer bags that she gave to me to sell for her. So those could have gone upwards of like $500 even. So the listings are all over the place in terms of price point, but definitely enough to make a good chunk of change on the side.
Okay, good. So, we live in a world that the internet and online is huge, especially now when it comes to shopping. Do you find it interesting or you find it amazing that the secondhand stuff now is finding a home? We all know of the Goodwill stores and the Value Village, et
Mhm.
cetera, of the world, but now it's online, right?
Yeah, it's not shocking to me at all. I would say specifically because Gen Z, my generation, is very tech savvy. So I think if
Yeah.
there's ever an opportunity to make some money on the side and be able to have those listings work for you online. I know myself, I work as a waitress as well. And it was really interesting to me that I could take photos in these clothing pieces in the morning, post the listings, and then I can go to my actual physical job and those listings are working for me and it's gaining exposure and I'm having some extra money.
Yeah. Now everything is yours, right? Like, but I'm also wondering, is there potential here or opportunity here in terms of the reselling, just to find items, say find items at a garage sale, you're picking them up for nothing and posting them there, right? Or even the value villages of the world, you're finding stuff really dirt cheap, so to speak, but you can make a profit doing that.
I personally haven't gone into many physical thrift stores or garage sales and plucked items to resell on my Poshmark, but I have been given some of my mom's items to sell, so that's the closest thing I would have to kind of items that aren't my own, just because she comes from a generation where she would never make her own Poshmark account, and those items of hers would just be sitting in the house if it wasn't for me who has my account. So I would just e-transfer her whatever I made from her designer items. And a lot of the things that she grew up wearing are now in style. So she was really surprised to know how much interest there were in some of her quote unquote vintage pieces.
All right. Now you know you did mention the Gen Z and the looking at secondhand stuff and etc. But a lot of it is sustainability driven as well, right? But I think one of the big things we're facing today is the price points, right?
Yes.
How expensive it is, no matter where you shop, whether it's groceries to clothing, right? So, do you think that's just going to keep, I guess, interest in something like this in secondhand economy growing even more?
100%. I think it's only going to become more popular as the years go on. Just as you said, given the rising price points and everything and inflation, I know for myself, if I have a big event coming up and I want to wear a new dress for that event, it might not make the most sense to spend upwards of $300 to go directly from that clothing company. It makes more sense if I key in the description that I want the keywords that I'm looking for in that dress on Poshmark, for example, and I'm able to look at dresses that fit what I would want to wear for that event, and I can get it at a way cheaper price point.
All right, wonderful. Well, thanks, Ariana, for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, that was Ariana Kertsanis, who is a Gen Z Canadian reseller with over 22,000 followers on Poshmark. I'm Mario Toneguzzi, Retail Insider's Senior News Editor. Thanks for joining us today.